All right, end of the song means it's time to start our show today. We have 103 participants so far. Co-host will continue to monitor the waiting room. Ugh. Shut my door. All right. The song today was appropriate because we're taking care of business here today. You have this in your Google Drive. However, you're going to get an updated version that has links. So, the primary events of the week. We have a webinar tomorrow from Nick Brown. So he's an archaeologist. So you can see in this picture here that he excavates things and he tries to learn about prehistoric societies by using evidence. So it turns out, I went through his slideshow this morning. He has a lot of science in there. And so it is completely appropriate for this to be part of our chemistry webinar series. So it's an exciting talk. I think it's a great way for us to end the year with a really different perspective of how is chemistry useful in the real world. So he's studying civilizations. He's living in Peru right now. He's studying civilizations that existed there over 2,000 years ago. So hope to see you there, right? Hope to see you there. You still have opportunities to earn enrichment points. Many of you need those enrichment points, so take advantage of the opportunities. So the second enrichment opportunity is going to be a Google Forms survey. It's not finalized yet, so that's why it wasn't linked on the document you already have. It'll be linked this afternoon. Expect it to be, you'll get the new version of this document at 1 p.m. today. That's the expectation. But I can show you what it looks like. So it is asking you for feedback on your experiences with online education. So we've been doing distance learning for some time. We want, as teachers, we need to know how you felt about it. What worked well, what didn't work well. If we have to do this again, how should we do it? So that's valuable information for us. The first question is, what is your name? You don't have to provide a name if you just want to participate in the survey. If you want to just make it anonymous, great, wonderful, do so. But the only way we can give you enrichment points is if you provide a name. So you make the choice there. If you need the points, then put your first and last name. But here are the questions. What online learning experiences were valuable to you? Explain briefly. You are encouraged to discuss experiences offered in this class. But maybe you say that your history class did something great and we chemistry teachers can learn from that. So do not constrain yourself to only chemistry class offerings. Tell us about things that were valuable to you in any class. The second one is, what didn't work for you? What did you not like? What were the difficulties? Again, explain briefly. And the last one is, as I said, if online education is offered this fall, how can we make it best for you? How can we make it best for you? Maximize your learning. All right, so that's the survey. And as I said, it will be available for you at 1 p.m. today. So right now, if you click on this, nothing happens, but this document will be refreshed in your Google Drive. It will have a link on it. You can participate as soon as that link is live. All right, let's look at the other thing that is here. The primary thing of business we're doing this week is the final exams for A students. If you looked at Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're doing final exam interviews on those 3 days. If all goes well and we don't have any technical glitches, we'll be able to get through everybody who should be interviewed. We'll have an interview slot. If there are technical glitches, we'll find a way to do whatever we need to do. But as far as how you sign up, it'll look like this. You don't have access to this document yet, but you will again soon. So I'm hoping, let's make it so it fits a little better. Yeah, there we go. I'm hoping that you can see that the slots are 10 minutes. You need to be on time. If you're an A student, you should be on time. That's the expectation. So you sign up for a particular time slot. You see there are many, many choices. The days are at the top. This is Wednesday. This is Thursday. This is Friday. If you know you can't do Friday, then don't sign up for Friday. So you just put your first and last name in a box. So here's an example. All right, Nervin McUrban has signed up for a slot on Wednesday at 12:20. If Nervin McUrban does not show up, then you just failed your exam. Clearly, if you have, like, I was trying, oh my God, my internet crashed. We're not going to fail you because your internet crashed. We are reasonable human beings. But the expectation is that Nervin McUrban will be ready to interview at 12:20 on Wednesday. All right, so we got lots of slots, so pick your favorite time. There will be different teachers doing the interviews. You do not get to pick your favorite teacher. So these will be randomly assigned. We just know we're going to have these individuals will be available to interview. We'll randomly assign them to teachers. So you won't necessarily know beforehand. Shouldn't matter, shouldn't matter, shouldn't matter. We've taught the same thing to every class of students. You should have skills. No matter which teacher interviews you, you should be able to demonstrate skill. So that is the first thing you'll need to do is sign up for a slot. And again, this will be available for you starting at 1 p.m. Please don't erase somebody else's name and put your name on top. My goodness, we can look at the history and see if you've done that. And once again, if you do that, you failed your exam. So just do the right thing. It's such an easy rule to follow. Do the right thing. Okay, while I'm on this screen, I will look for questions in the chat. You may have a question. If so, put it in the chat. Or perhaps unmute yourself and say, I have a question. Okay, I'll wait a few more seconds. Sometimes people are slow getting their fingers going or getting their brain going. Okay, if you think of a question later on in this session, please ask. Please don't go home saying, I thought this, but I wasn't sure, so I guessed. We have the ability to answer your questions live. Please ask the question so you do the right thing. Okay. Let's go back here. Okay, so this will be, that means, what this does mean is that if you're not in the interviews, then please don't try to sign into Zoom during that time. We're just doing interviews on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay. One more thing I think I should say. This link here has always been the link to sign in for Chemistry Zoom. That may change on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So look at your email. And if it says use this link on Wednesday, then use this link on Wednesday. Don't assume this is true. This document will also be updated, but look at your email. That's how we're communicating with you. All right, let's go over here now. And we're going to try to give you an idea of what to expect. So I will first ask whether there is a student who is saying, I'll be the guinea pig. Okay, now we got a whole bunch in the chat. Are they meaningful? Okay. There are some meaningful questions here, so try to hear the question and try to hear the answer. All right, so the first question is, I can't get into Aries. I don't know if I have an A or B plus. That's an interesting problem which I did not foresee. The only people who will be allowed to take the interview final are students who currently do have an A in Aries. A minus is okay, but if you have a B or B plus, no, you don't get a slot in the interview queue. All right, if you're saying I don't know, then I guess you have to ask your teacher. Which seems a little strange, but I guess okay. All right, Keegan says, is the interview the same across the board? An interview is never the same across the board. No, we'll see what it's like. I can ask whatever question I want. Any teacher who's interviewing me can ask whatever question they want. So you have to have skill. It's not like I memorized the answers to the questions. That's the whole reason we're doing the interview, is because some students did either memorize the answer to the question or ask their friend, what's the answer to the question? Or look it up on Google, what's the answer to the question? And those students will be exposed in this final and say, I don't know how to do that if I can't look it up. So no, it's not a canned interviewer saying, I looked up the answer beforehand. If we take the A final and fail it, do we get a B in the class? Yes, you get a B in the class. Do we click the link and wait in the waiting room before our final? Yes, so we will be letting people in one at a time. So you are supposed to be in the waiting room before your time. If your time is 11, don't show up in the waiting room at 11:02. No, you're in the waiting room at 10:55, so we can start your interview at 11 a.m. Once again, if you can't be on time, you're not an A student. So be on time, do the right thing. We'll let you in one at a time. All right. Does the A final cover topics we learned outside of online learning? Maybe, sure. It can be anything we want to ask you. We're not trying to trick you. We are trying to say, did you learn something? Show us you learned something. We'll demonstrate that when we do the mock interview here. If you don't know the answer to the question that's posed, you either ask the teacher a good question back. That shows skill. If you know what question to ask, that is an immense display of skill. So we'll demonstrate that. I hope we'll do it well. All right. How does doing poorly on the A final compare to passing on the B final? They're the same. What is considered failing the final? When you show no skill. That's considered failing the final. If you have a B, should you even worry about this? The answer is no, but maybe you'll be interested. I know there are some of the Spanish classes are doing live Zoom interviews. It may be the thing that's done. If we do online learning again, it may be a thing that's done. So you should stay and see what it looks like and say, oh, okay. How would I do if that were my way of assessment? How should you prepare for the final? You should already be prepared, but we'll talk a little bit more about that. Once you see what it looks like, you'll understand what to do to prepare. How many questions will be asked? As many as can fit in 10 minutes. Let's show you what it looks like. Okay, so I am wondering whether there is a student who would like to volunteer to be the guinea pig. So if you are brave and you say, yeah, I'll be the guinea pig.
We have a volunteer. Yes, Mr.
Keel is going to be the guinea pig. Awesome. Okay, so this is clearly unplanned for Georgia. She's coming in cold, doesn't know what to expect, but that's great. All right, so Georgia, you're going to unmute yourself so we can have a conversation.
All right.
And this is great because there may be some bugs that we haven't foreseen as teachers. And if we practice teacher to teacher, it's not the same as practicing with a real student.
Yeah.
All right. I'll set a timer.
Okay.
So my timer is going here. Can I see Georgia? I can see Georgia. Okay, so that'll be important for all of you to say we have to be able to see you as well as hear you. We have to be able to see you. So I can see Georgia, and I can hear Georgia, and we're ready to go, I think. All right. So first, tell me, what are some of the things that were most important? What are the most important things you learned this year in chemistry?
Well, specifically regarding the online learning, I believe that one of the most important things I learned was regarding changing units of measure to like a different unit. For example, using changing the grams of a certain substance into how many moles that substance is by I know that we used fractions, so
Yep. Okay, very good. Very good. That's an important skill that chemists use all the time. So you'll be able to demonstrate some skill there. Anything else you thought was important?
well, can I go back to when we were learning in class, or is it just
Absolutely. Yes. You can talk about anything. So audience members, Georgia is the whole idea is just talk to us. Talk to
well
us. We're
in
not
class?
constraining you.
I really felt that something that benefited me. It's very basic knowledge, but regarding chemical equations, balancing them and understanding how exactly they work, it really helps me comprehend how certain products are made in all the chemical reactions that we were performing during class. Because I remember at the beginning of the year when we were doing the experiments, I kind of was hardly understanding what was happening during the experiment. All I knew is that it would happen. I didn't really think beyond that, but it really helped me understand what actually was happening.
Okay, great. Because that really is one of the real goals of chemistry is to say not just something happened, but it is almost predictable saying if you start with these atoms, what can you make out of them? And that's what chemical equations are about. That's also what many of the models we were using. What were your favorite models that we used? It could be online or in class.
I really enjoyed the set simulations with how we had the actual molecules displayed, or even in class when we had the little cutouts of each molecule and we were able to like connect, or of each atom, and then we were able to connect them to make the molecules, because I felt that that visual representation really helped explain how exactly it worked, because when there's a bunch of numbers and letters, it can't really connect as easy. So that's probably my favorite model that we've used.
Okay, so you like the puzzle pieces and the putting them together. I could put that on screen if I were clever. So maybe I should try that, huh? Okay, let's actually try this now. I'm going to try to let you solve a problem.
All right.
I have this kind of blank page here that you can see. I'm going to try to share it with you and see how long does it take to get you. So if we were doing this for the real interview, I would share it with you before we started. But let me just do this now and say there. Okay, so I'm sharing this document with you. Ooh, did I give you ability to edit it? Let's find out. Can edit. Yeah, okay. Should be, I think. Let's find out. All right, so you can see it's a blank page. It's suitable for doing dimensional analysis. Are you comfortable using this where you can type things in?
Yes. Hold up. I'm just pulling it up right now.
Yeah, so I'll just type, I'll just write a problem here and you'll talk it through. So instead of just silently putting numbers in boxes, I want you to talk it through and say, what are you thinking? And maybe you'll have to ask me some questions because you need some information that's not provided. And that's where I'm saying audience members. Knowing what question to ask is a vast demonstration of skill. Okay, so let me just type in a typical problem there. George is there, beautiful. All right, so here's how many grams of O2 gas are needed. to completely combust. 0.24 moles of propane. Okay, great. So now that's a question, that's a typical problem-solving question. It can be done using dimensional analysis. You're welcome to talk out loud and to ask questions out loud, Georgia. Did we lose Georgia? Her picture is frozen.
Formula for propane again.
All right, if you can, Georgia, give us a confirmation that you're hearing. Can't hear what you're saying, so that's the problem. Okay. I can hear you now. Good. That was neat. So the typing through a Google Doc was the way of communicating. All right, good. What is the chemical reaction? Excellent question. Excellent question. We do need a chemical equation if we're going to try to answer this question intelligently. Perfect. Okay, so I will be able to write a chemical equation right here. All right, so propane is C3H8. Maybe I'll write in a different color, huh? All right, teacher can write in blue. Beautiful. Okay, so here's the unbalanced equation. CO2 and H2O are the products. All right, so there's the skeleton equation, and I'll make it look prettier, but that's to help you out there. So audience, you can kind of see we're working collaboratively here, and I like George's first question. Really like that first question. Make that a little bigger. Okay. All right, so balancing the equation. Let's see if you can do that, huh? And once again, you're free to ask questions if needed. There we go. I like that. I like that. I'll make it look prettier again. So audience, you can see we can almost have a conversation through the Google Doc itself. And George has got some coefficients in there, which are so far great. And there's the last coefficient. Beautiful. Okay. All right, so balanced equation is a good first step. Right, okay, so now George is interpreting, what does this mean? And she's talking about a mole ratio, which is great. That's the purpose of balancing the equation. Okay, cool. So I'm going to, I think this is the document that you should be expecting to see. You know, it's going to be all these blank spaces. If Georgia had good audio, she'd be saying these things instead of typing them. But I'm hoping you see that so far everything Georgia has done has demonstrated skill and thoughtfulness. She's been able to thoughtfully consider what did we do this year in chemistry. Yeah, and so now she's showing skill with problem solving, saying there is a sequence that she can envision using the 1 to 5 mole ratio. Okay. Okay, good. I'll help again by stretching things out. All right, so I'm hoping you see, I'm trying to help Georgia not get bogged in the little details. So I'm helping her. And now we want an answer to that, huh? So as far as what you should have handy, students, have your periodic table handy. Have a calculator handy, so it's not like, well, I have to switch away from my Zoom to get an answer. Just have your calculator right there. Have your periodic table right there. This is great. Okay, so now I can, if you were at the Pear Deck session, one of the things that I said was important is highlight the question. Are we done yet? And you should see the question is how many grams of O2. We're not done yet, but George is well on her way to finding it. And I'll again stretch it out so she has more room. Okay, so that presumably came from the periodic table. The 32 grams is 1 mole, and therefore she can use that in the second step of this dimensional analysis. Yeah, there we go. Excellent. Okay, there we go. Look at that. Okay, now she's making sure she's answering the question. Okay, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So here, even with some technical difficulties, Georgia has clearly demonstrated skill, thoughtfulness. That's a pass. All right, so it's now time for students to ask questions about what they just observed. All right, Ms. Holtz is saying we're recording the sessions. Yeah, so we're recording the session. This one has been recorded. I'm going to make this available for people who aren't here to say, what does it look like? We've got it recorded. It's a perfect example of what does it look like when you do it well. I think you can imagine what it would look like if you did it poorly. It's, I don't know. And then you start putting random things in the boxes. And we say, where'd that number come from? And you say, I don't know. It just kind of, I thought that was what I was supposed to do. And when I say, what do you learn? You say, I don't know. So it's not, we're not trying to trick you. We're just trying to say, show us you learned something. Show us you have some skill. And okay. All right, next question is, do we have, but let me finish with the first question before that. We're recording it, so then if you don't pass and somebody says, but why? We'll just show the tape. We'll show it to whoever is questioning, whether it's your parents, whether it's a counselor, whoever. It's, let's look at this and where's the skill? Okay, so that's why we're recording it. Here's a question. Do we have questions about heat exchange? Sure, why not? It's something we learned. At least it's something we taught you. Anything we taught you can be something we ask about. Again, we're not trying to trick you. If you're saying, I don't know much about heat exchange, but I can do this instead, then show us your skill. Show us your skill. All right, next question. Are you allowed to look back at your notes during the exam? Ideally not, because there's going to be this long pause. What do you know about this? Let me look at my notes. Swish, 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 swish. I know this. So please don't refer to your notes. Instead, ask the question that, like Georgia did. What's the chemical reaction? Now, if all you do is ask questions, like, that's not such a good demonstration of skill. But you're saying, I need to know this to do the problem, then yeah, we'll get you started. It's a conversation. We're working together. All right, George's, no, let's skip that question. All right. Will the empty document for the actual final always be dimensional? So the empty document is just the tools. Whether you use the dimensional analysis or not, that's up to you. But if I'm saying I want you to make the boxes, that's hard to do and that's a waste of time. So it could be that in your exam you don't use any of these boxes. Fine, great. It's not like that's the only skill we're looking for. But if you wanted to use them, they need to be there. That's why I'm giving you this blank template. Okay. Okay. I think that is good. And I'm not getting any more questions in the chat. So I'll once again wait a minute. Perhaps some of the teachers, the co-hosts, want to say something that I've forgotten. Or perhaps they have questions that will make it easier for you students to understand what to expect. Okay, question of when will the sign-up sheet be shared? It will be shared at 1 p.m. today. That's this page here that so far has one name, which is made up. So take it away. Take it away. Okay. Yep. Okay, now it's a blank page. Good. Next question is, do we still have meetings next week? I think next week is only finals, so there won't be any meetings next week. So if you are looking at the plans and saying, what does this mean for you? If you're not doing the live final, then there will be a final for you next week, multiple choice. I don't know how many questions, we haven't made it yet, but that'll be on the designated day. Co-host, do you know what day it is? Is it Tuesday?
It is Tuesday.
Okay, Tuesday, what time?
I would like to say it's 10, but I'll look right now.
Okay, so there's a designated time for science finals next week, Tuesday, probably 10 a.m. is what we think.
It is 10 to 12.
10 to 12. Okay, so if you're doing that exam, then you should be there for that final. Okay, we got a few more questions here. Will the survey be up at 1 p.m.? Yes, survey will be available at 1 p.m. So those of you who need the enrichment points can do it. And those of you who want to help us teach you better in future should do this. Yeah, I'm hoping we get 100. I'm hoping we get 200 responses. It'll be very valuable for us to hear from all of you, not just a few, but all of you. All right. Okay, and the last question is, after we finish our interview, if you're an A student and you're doing your interview, that's the last thing you'll be doing this year. That is a true statement. I mean, I guess we could have you come back and say goodbye, but that the final exam that we're doing here is the last thing for those students who participate, right? This is the last thing you'll be doing with us. Okay. I'm encouraging co-hosts to chime in with anything they think is important for students.
I would say before you sign up for your slot for your live interview, make sure that you have the required.
Wow, where'd that come from?
Have what is required. So not just an A, but the 10 enrichment points, or if you do the 2 enrichment points this week, then you will have 10. and that you've done 90% of your assignments.
Technically, can you still get an A if you do the not live final?
No.
No. So I think, and you can
But,
correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Sogo, these interview finals, the finals that we're doing are not necessarily going to go into the grade book. It's not going to change your grade. It is a checkpoint for the
This
a
is
checkpoint
true
for the grade.
of all let's see if I can get it. Yeah.
I have a 89.6, so I technically have an A.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if I did the non-A final, I would still get an A if I got 100% on it.
No, it's multiple criteria. No, you can't do that, Nick. Okay, it's not the percentage in Aries that determines your grade. This was clearly stated in the grading criteria. It is not the percentage in Aries.
Oh, I didn't read it.
Well, then you should. Okay, then you should. Yeah, if you don't know what grades are based on, then you can't do it well, can you? But this is what it is. All right. So this is the thing that you're talking about, Nick. So great. But this is the second criterion. This is the third criterion. This is the fourth criterion. Okay. You must meet all four criteria, not just one of four, not two of four.
Right. So the multiple choice final for B students, it's not going to go in the grade book and increase your percentage grade. It's just you passed it, and therefore you get a B.
Exactly. All right. So you have to pass your exam here. And if you're saying what percent is a pass, we'll tell you that detail. We don't need to tell you today because your exam isn't until next week, Tuesday. All right. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if there are any other questions. And okay. Just question saying, do you get your grade at the end of the interview? If you're saying pass or fail, it's just a pass fail. It's not a grade. It's not like you got 90%. It's just pass or fail. So yes, you'll get your grade at the end of the interview. If you have 89% at this point, then yes, you're disqualified. Yes, final is a pass-fail grade. Okay. All right, so you're going to try to do your part correctly. Teachers are going to monitor who's putting their names on the list. If you can't do it right, then we teachers will do it for you and just assign you random slots. So please do it right. As I was saying, you should be able to do the right thing here. Some people were already writing on here, which is wrong. So we'll have to make a new document. So this document will be trashed. We'll make a new one. Yeah. Okay. So if you can't do it right, we'll just assign you to a time slot, and it'll be your interview time is 11:30 on Thursday, and that's when you're supposed to be there. Okay.
I want to interject one thing about the sign-up sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Under no circumstance should you delete someone's name and put your name in their slot.
Yeah.
Do not do that.
That's how you fail, right? We'll know you did it. We can look at
version history.
Version history, yeah.
So keep a record of what your time slot is and the day, and then I would say check it once or twice again to make sure that your name has not been changed. And if it has, you email us.
Okay. Okay. All right. I think we are ready to end this meeting. And okay, so I'm hoping most of you will be here tomorrow for the webinar. And if you are here tomorrow, we'll give you updates on this document, whether everything looks good or whether we had to intervene as teachers and say, no, you're assigned a spot. If you are assigned a spot, it will be submitted to you. It'll be in your email saying this is your time slot. And there we go. Okay. All right, counting down. Okay, one person who has not been following is saying, where's the link to the survey? Yeah. Say it one more time. At 1 o'clock today, 1 p.m., you'll get this document will be updated with the proper link for signing up and the proper link for the Google Form survey. That happens at 1 o'clock today. All right, that's all for me. And Oscar, well, sorry. Yeah, if you can't do Aries, you got to talk to your teacher. I don't understand why you can't do Aries, but if you can't do Aries, yeah, you got to talk to your teacher. Okay, that's going to be really annoying for us. So use your
I
Aries.
understand that Aries had to be updated, so you guys need to, I believe it's change your password, or you have to re-sign in to access your Aries. So just try to sign out and sign back in, and it should be fine.
I bet you all have an email saying this, students.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you use the methods of communication that are being provided to you, you wouldn't ask questions that have already been answered for you. So try it. Try it. Look at all the emails that you haven't read and start reading them. All right, we're done for today. I hope to see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Teachers will go to our teacher meeting, I think, just right
Thank
now.
you.